literally. So I'm pretty sure all of us here, we've had a chance to see the Avengers Infinity War trailer that dropped earlier this week. We definitely wanted to give our thoughts on the trailer, pretty much have a discussion about that. Dana, I know that you have not really had a chance to really say much about it. I haven't seen any of your reactions either, so I'm going to let you start us off and let us know. So what did you think of the Avengers Infinity War trailer?
I'm upset they changed it since the D23 one. I kind of like the original one, and I like that stuff that they added in. But, they clarified a bunch of things that was going on. They fixed Thor's eye, for one, and they took away my planet scene, which to me was like the whole intent and purpose of even watching that trailer. For those who didn't see it beforehand, Thanos throws a planet, I believe, at Iron Man. It's either a planet or a moon. He grabs it out of the sky and just hurls it at him. So, it took away that wow factor for me. But, man, this was epic. It was so beautiful. It was. We got a better opportunity of knowing that, it looks like the Soul Gem is going to be in Wakanda, which kind of makes me, a little afraid because we know how that goes with Black people in movies. So that part was exciting, minus, what's going to happen to Black people in movies. Iron Man got a beat down. Poor little Spider-Man. He's trying as much as he can, to be a part of the team, but he needs to just, pack it up and go home. This is a big boys fight. But he's trying, and he's in there. The people who were missing, I'm really interested in this. I didn't get to see Scarlet Witch, and Hawkeye was not in there. So I'm very interested to see how those two, no, Scarlet Witch was in there. I'm sorry. It was Hawkeye who was missing, and it was Widow who's not in there. So I'm really interested to see how they come into play. We know that we know that Widow has a big part in it as well, but we don't know anything about Hawkeye. Hopefully he's enjoying the last moments with his family before they all die. So I'm really excited. It's going to be a lot of deaths, a lot of crying, and it just looks like a big, massive, epic scale. And they're going to go all out because this is the last phase. It's phase 4. It's, the ending of everything. So I'm excited.
Absolutely.
Except for, I don't like what they did with Thanos. They keep changing his appearance. They made him look like Josh. That's like my only gripe with this whole thing is I don't like Thanos.
Please. I do think that was just early CGI, though. I think that'll be fixed because I agree it looks awful right now, and he looked way better in whatever movie he was revealed in. What was it, Guardians 1?
Yeah, there's memes running around with him looking like he looks. Remember the Raisinets, the dancing raisins back in like the 90s? He looks like the Raisinets.
So somebody did a Photoshop of him and Bruce Willis. Like that was hilarious.
Yeah. Apparently, they switched the actor too, from what it was.
No, he's always been Thanos Brolin. Yeah.
Okay, someone said that like the first time around it wasn't him. Someone said it was a black character actually, and then they switched it out for Josh Brolin later. I saw this on Twitter. There was a huge thread about it.
He did like the first teaser. This was before Josh Brolin was even cast.
Maybe and that then was later, then.
Yeah, maybe that was it. But he's always had that look. They just made him less purple and less menacing.
I mean, I just saw a big Twitter thread about it, and it was like people were going at it at one another, like because some people didn't know this, and I was one of the people that apparently didn't know this. But so, are you saying it was fake then? It may have been. I didn't look into it any further because I don't know. I just didn't care to. But yeah, it was like really dramatic, and people were like giving death threats and stuff.
Yeah, Thanos was first teased years ago when he simply said like, "I'll do it." It was right after I think Thor 2.
Was it? God, I don't even remember. Thor 2.
No, after Avengers 1.
After Avengers 1?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that was like, what, almost 10 years ago?
Not that long.
A while ago. Not 10, but...
Well, it's like 6 years or something.
6 years ago feels like 10 years ago. Come on now. So, it was a while ago. So, I expect there to be some changes, but it's just a lot compared to what we first saw.
Yeah. No, definitely.
This looks normal. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's so yeah, that's some interesting thoughts. I'm gonna let Mr. Lugo go next, but before I do that, I just want to make a quick comment about what you said about the planet. I really, really think that they wanted to save that scene for another time, because I was speaking to another one of my friends. You know, we both thought the trailer was fantastic, but the reason why they removed that particular scene, I guess they don't want to show too much for those that haven't seen the D23 footage. But yeah, I think that either that's going to be in the next trailer that they release, or at a later time. But they obviously wanted to save that, because when somebody sees that, it's like, wow, that's you. There's no way you won't get hyped up when you see something like that happen. But we will see it at some point. I mean,
well, as long as we see it's okay. I'm even okay with it being in part 2. I just want there to be some planet throwing.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see. But yeah, Mr. Lugo, what were your thoughts on the trailer? Did you like it, or was you a little disappointed?
So right off the bat, I like the trailer. I think it's a very safe trailer, though. And the reason being is because there was so much that was changed from the D23 footage. And it's confusing because a lot of the stuff that they had showed there, you would have expected from the reaction that everybody gave, especially at some of the leak footage, that they would have kept it. Like, obviously, the planet throwing from Thanos, the stuff featuring more of the Guardians. I feel like because of the leak, and because of some of the other stuff in the talk about that trailer or that footage that was shown at D23, it made that short little reveal at the end of this trailer showing the Guardians are about to show up, that obviously diminished it, because we all know that the Guardians are going to be there. So why kind of hide that in this trailer? The other thing also, too, which I thought was interesting or whatnot, is that the other trailer I felt like was a little bit much more grim. This one, it felt grim, like obviously with Thanos' monologue and what you're seeing there. And we all know there's going to be some real big stuff that goes down. But the other one showed, or at least the footage from D23, showed a lot more footage of the Guardians getting their asses kicked and the Avengers getting their asses kicked. Even though there was some stuff here, including Spider-Man, Iron Man gets punched out by Thanos. And that stuff was interesting, and it was cool also finally seeing Thanos put one of the stones in the gauntlet. One of the things that we did get confirmed in this trailer is that in some of the footage of what we've seen thus far, he's only got 2 of the stones. He's got the Power Stone, he's got the Space Stone so far, which is the Tesseract, and the Orb one, the Purple Stone from Guardians of the Galaxy 1. And that's interesting. Now, we obviously don't know how many stones he's going to have by the end of this movie, but more than likely, you're going to think, and from what other footage that was leaked, because remember, before this trailer dropped, there was some extra leaked footage about Thanos and the Guardians actually going back to the Collector's palace, or the Collector's area, and it's destroyed, and it's Thanos having a monologue with the Collector. He goes to get the Ether, which is the red Infinity Stone. So more than likely, he's going to have at least 4, if not 5, if not all the stones by the end of this film. More than likely. Again, we're still not sure or whatnot. But again, my biggest thing out of this trailer, why I said it was so safe, is because they held back a lot of the Guardian stuff. And I felt like, again, some of the other real kick-ass moments that they had from that D23 footage that people loved was nowhere to be found in here. There's maybe a couple scenes. Obviously, we got to see the Iron Spider stuff, which, seeing it more in a more clear setting, we could see that the eyes light up for Spider-Man, which I thought was a nice, neat touch, because, again, that's the same type of thing that you see from Iron Man's suit, and it makes sense because that's Tony Stark's tech in that suit. And also, we get to see some more of the different Avengers, the different Marvel characters in pairings and in groupings. We obviously see Stark, we see Doctor Strange, we see Wong, we see Bruce Banner, who's finally back on Earth afterwards, after all that stuff goes down. So obviously, compared to the D23 footage, we get a little bit more clarity about what happens after that stuff goes down at the end of Thor Ragnarok, leading into Avengers Infinity War. So there were some neat little gems and nuggets of info that we could kind of infer from what's going on. There's some cool Easter eggs in there too. I think it is dope, the very last shot that you see, instead of the planet stuff from D23, that you get to see all those Avengers together in Wakanda. I thought that was a cool money shot. With characters from Black Panther. You get to see Sam Wilson, the Falcon. You get to see War Machine. A lot of people were confused, by the way. That was not Iron Man in that shot. That was War Machine. That was Rhodey. Like that, along with Captain America, was it Black Widow, the Hulk in the background, and everybody else that was there in Wakanda. So we all know there's going to be a big battle in Wakanda, and it looks like it's going to be pretty freaking dope. What I'm curious to know, though, by the time we get our second trailer for this film leading into next year is if we're going to see more of Thanos's peoples, his Black Order, which is the actual bad guys who are the people or the aliens that come with him and go to Vision to get the actual Mind Stone from him, which is when he's going in that scene when he's screaming. That's them taking the Mind Stone from him. But we didn't really get to see good shots of them, full on at all in this trailer. Maybe in the next trailer we get a little bit more of that. So, and another thing I want to comment on before I pass it along. One of the things that I read about of why Thanos' look is changing so much, which I read from a couple different interviews and postings about it, is that this particular movie is supposed to be focused a lot more on Thanos gathering the stones, which is why I kind of go back to Thanos, how many stones he's going to have by the end of the film. But one of the comments that they made in some of the interviews, I believe it was the Russo brothers that commented on this, was saying that this is more of a personalized, spiritual journey for Thanos because he feels like he's the only one that could do this. And it's like a manifest destiny type of thing for him to do so in order to please death and do all this other stuff. That's why he's not wearing his armor from Guardians of the Galaxy that we've already seen him in, which is that big kind of like war armor. He's not really so much of a warlord. He's trying to become a god, which I thought was interesting, but I want to get more clarity on it when I finally see the film, or at least leading up to the film, because if he's like this in this film, I mean, it doesn't really bother me that much, but by the next film that we see him, because it's going to be more based on the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, at least that comic storyline from Jim Starlin, I think it's going to be a lot more cooler to see him in his full garb, in his full armor, with the Infinity Gauntlet fully complete, because then it's going to be a little bit much more attuned to the comics, and it's going to make the stakes feel a little bit much more drastic than how whatever bad or however grim it's going to get in this movie. So that's just my thoughts on it. I thought it was a good trailer, though. I'm hyped up. I'll tell you right now, it broke the internet. It got the most views in a single day, I believe it is, for any trailer that it came out up to this point, which is pretty awesome. That's really the testament to the power of the Marvel Cinematic Universe at this point now. It's doing so much more better, or at least, as cinematic universe wise, than what's been going on the other side of the pond, which is DC. So pretty cool.
Shots fired at the end of that description. Some great thoughts. I'm going to move it over to Max, but I will say one other thing. I also did know what you're talking about regarding that article, because I did hear that they want this to be somewhat of a heist type of film. So it makes sense to see Thanos, slowly get all the stones, and then of course, some people, he's gonna have to take out a lot of people on his way to this journey, as well as once he has all the stones. So I'm curious to see which people don't make it. I did see Wesley in the chat. Well, no, that's Black Star in the chat mentioned rest in peace, Loki. Yeah, I think that's definitely going to happen. But we'll see. We'll see. So, Max, what are your thoughts on the trailer as a whole?
I don't have a whole lot of thoughts that haven't already been said. I thought it was dope. It really has me hyped up for a Marvel movie. I'd have to say it's funny because it kind of reminded me of the Age of Ultron trailer in terms of like feeling dread and stuff. And we all know how that movie wasn't actually dark at all. So I hope to God that Infinity War is actually dark, and I feel like it actually will be this time around. But what I actually wanted to say was, you guys are talking a lot about how they cut some of those scenes from the D23 trailer. And I think the reason they're doing that is alongside what Rich said. I think they're waiting for those scenes for like maybe like the launch trailer or like right before the movie comes out or something. Because you have to remember that D23 footage and everything, that's more for like people like us, people who really follow this sort of stuff. Whereas the casual audience who like only knows about this stuff from like the general news or like just the online trailer or just like TV, like TV commercials and stuff like that. Like they'll be watching TV like the week before the movie comes out, they'll see that trailer and that'll be stuck in their head forever. Whereas the people or that'll be stuck in their head for the week before they go see the show. Whereas people like us, we're going to be talking about it up until then. They'll see this trailer, they'll forget about it. It'll stay in the back of their head until the next trailer, and then the movie, Whereas us, we're talking about it forever. We're going to keep bringing it up because it's very, very freaking cool and it appeals directly to us. Like that D23 footage appeals directly to us. And I think that'd be a good idea if that's the case. But yeah, overall, I really, really enjoyed the trailer. I still have to see Thor 3. So some of the stuff was kind of weird to me, like the eye patch. But yeah, I plan on seeing that soon. I haven't been watching many movies lately, but I want to catch up and see that one before Infinity War. Because Infinity War, I'm going to see day one. That shit looks awesome. I can't wait.
So, spoiler alert, yeah, anyone who hasn't seen Thor and they saw this trailer like Max did, you need to go see Thor 3 to find out why that is.
But can I also
Go
say
ahead.
really quickly?
Yeah.
The reason why I think that they switched a lot of the footage around was during D23 debut, Thor 3 has not came out yet. So them by putting all of that Guardian of the Galaxy, the Thor stuff in there, I think it was to really get hyped for the next movie, which was the Thor 3. And we just came off of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So it was to get people excited. The reason why they switched it now to a lot of Wakanda type footage is because what's next? Black Panther. And while people are already excited for Black Panther, I mean, come on, day one, Black Panther, we finally made it. It is to introduce a lot of the people and to get people who have not really seen that much of the trailer or really know that much about Black Panther to get excited for the movie that's coming up now. So I definitely appreciated seeing them in the Infinity trailer because we have the Black Panther movie that's coming up to look forward to. So I expect that to happen. So yay.
That's a great point, actually. Yeah. It's a very smart way to do things.
The
And I
tease
believe
us
you are correct.
the footage, just like, oh, okay. And then on top of that, Guardians 2 was not that great. So it just didn't make any sense. No, it was terrible. I'm sorry. But it didn't make any sense. But, you know, next thing you want to get us looking forward to is like, yes, we have Infinity War, but we do have 2 other movies in between that. So please check out Black Panther, which is going to be first. So I like them putting in that detail and switching it around. And we get to see more Black people before they all die.
Absolutely. Well, we definitely are going to have to talk more in depth about before we get to actual Infinity War. Maybe do a podcast on some of the all the lead up towards it, perhaps in the future. We'll consider that. But Gary, I know that you saw this trailer about 5 times, and I believe that you suffered a massive heart attack after you saw it. So let us know what you thought about the Infinity War trailer.
Yeah, you're not lying at all. So this trailer came out on Wednesday, and I happened to be at work that day. I was in the office and everything, and I actually do social media in my work. Like one of my clients, I do social media for them. So, you know, while I was running their Twitter feed and everything, I saw, you know, Infinity War was trending, and then I started to see like GIFs and, you know, images and stuff, and I just started getting excited instantly. I was like, oh man, I can't believe this trailer dropped right now. Like, I can't even watch it. Now, I could have watched it, to be honest, because, you know, the client I work for, they're cool and everything. They wouldn't mind if I watched it and stuff. But I wanted to pace myself. I wanted it to be perfect when I saw that trailer. Like, I needed to not be at work. I needed to be somewhere else. You know, I needed to be in comfort so I could fully process it. And when it finally came time to watch it, man, I had a nerdgasm, like straight up. Like, I loved that trailer. And you know, I'm not really fussed about them dropping scenes from the D23 trailer or whatever, because like the thing I hate about trailers with all these big movies, like the comic book movies and stuff, is I feel like they show too much sometimes. So I'm actually really happy with this trailer because it shows just enough. Like, it gives you a general idea of what's going to be going on throughout the film. But then you also feel like there's a lot that we haven't seen yet. There's going to be a lot of surprises, a lot of secrets as well. And I like that because, you know, that Spider-Man trailer that came out like before the film, like, it showed way too much. Like, I felt like I saw the whole film already before I saw it. So I don't want that to happen with Infinity War. And if there is another trailer like that releases a week before the movie comes out, I'm not going to watch it, to be honest. Like, because I just want the movie. I just want to be like, I just want to experience it. And if I happen to pass away before that movie comes out, I'm going to slap someone in the afterlife. Like, because that can't happen. I need to see that film. But yeah, man. I had some more thoughts, but I kind of forgot. But I do want to say that I hope Dana is one of the people who's writing this film, because I want to see a lot of people die in this film. Like, because the stakes have to be really high, man. Like, a lot of people have to die, I think.
Everyone's dying.
Yeah, all the black characters, of course. You know,
There's
War
a
Machine. Goodbye, War Machine. You know, he's gonna die.
God, he's gone. Falcon gone. Everyone. But there was an interview that the Russo brothers did, and they said that they had a list that they was able to choose from of the people who was going to die. So it's very interesting how they're going to end up choosing who dies.
Yeah, but do you know what I think is going to happen though? I think we're going to get a lot of high-profile deaths as well, like characters you won't expect to die. But what I think is going to happen in the next Avengers movie following, you know, obviously we're dealing with stones here that, you know, can manipulate the universe. So there's a time stone. There's, you know, I forget what the rest are actually, but yeah, there's different stones that do different things. So they can bring some people back if they really want to. So
yeah, I heard that.
Exactly.
Dies, but they're gonna just bring back. They're gonna go back in time.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be shocked if they did something crazy like kill Spider-Man. To be honest with you,
Spider-Man's already dead. You saw that trailer. He's gone.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like,
dead.
And obviously Tony Stark was crying. Like, who would he cry for? Either War Machine or Spider-Man, right?
No, he would cry for War Machine more
Pepper.
than Spider-Man.
And also Cap. I think Cap too, as well, to an extent, even though those two are fighting technically.
Yeah, I think he'd cry for a lot of people, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think what Max just said about Pepper. Yeah, that's a very good one. Yeah, Pepper. Because some innocent bystanders probably also gonna get killed also, to let people know how serious this really is. You know,
Poor Aunt May.
And what I think will happen is I think perhaps they'll lose the entire Earth at the end of that film, and then the next one will just be in space. I think that's a possibility.
Yeah, well, when I was doing the interview with Terry, oh gosh, I couldn't notes. Oh gosh, it's the guy who
Nolan.
It's one of the in Affinity, who's doing both part 2 and 1, and he said that it's going to take place. You know, the first one is going to be more like Earth planet bound, and then the other one is going to be more in space. So we have that aspect to look forward to.
If you read the arc, the comic arc, like the actual Infinity Gauntlet storyline, that's exactly what happens, because most of it takes place on the Sanctuary section, which is in space away from Earth, because all the heroes go to attack Thanos, which is a big deal. And that's a lot also where most of the other deaths that happen within the Marvel's universe that goes on during that storyline. So it'll be interesting if they take that type of notion and something like that does happen to the Earth, where like stuff gets like really, really bad, and they end up having to go towards where Thanos' ship or Thanos' sanctuary is at. Keep in mind also, after Avengers Infinity War, we're getting Captain Marvel. So whatever is going to happen as far as like the cause and effect, or at least stuff that goes on in Infinity War, might also be felt in those other movies afterwards. Because I believe it's Spider-Man 4 or Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man Homecoming 2, and then Captain Marvel, which takes place in the 90s. And then there's supposed to be another movie before that, before Avengers 4.
So in other words, very good points. In other words, we'll see Samuel L. Jackson return to get killed in the second part of Avengers. I'm pretty sure he'll be angry about that, but you know, we'll see.
He's made money. He seems like he's cool with it, but yeah. And I also was wondering how it will affect the TV, aspect, their world, because they do allude to it. And I just hope they just don't call it, the second incident, but, they actually address what happens in the movies when it comes to the TV shows.
I like to make a very quick comment. I think Gary's about to make a comment, but I will say this: if it does impact the Netflix series or any of the stuff that goes on in that universe, I hope Thanos does make an appearance in Iron Fist season 2 and kills off Iron Fist. But go ahead, Gary, because I think you were about to say something.
Well, yeah, I definitely can't top that. I hope that happens. But like to me, it felt like in the last few Marvel TV shows on Netflix, it felt like they were kind of distancing themselves from being loosely connected. But now that Disney is actually taking those series and putting them on their own network, maybe they will try and tie it into the movies a bit more moving forward, because like they'll have complete control over everything, so they can pretty much do what they want. So maybe, you know, maybe they will reference it. I mean, you kind of have to, because a big event like that.
They'll end up doing that first on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. before they do it on the Netflix shows, I feel like, because they've done that at least at this point. They did it in the past after, I believe it was Winter Soldier at one point, or at least after the first or second Avengers movie, where they referred to the incident and stuff. But I don't know if they're necessarily going to be like that, or at least, you know, try to connect the dots too much between the Netflix stuff that's going on and what's going on in the movies. Because remember, there's already a lot going on with the Netflix shows that people already have to keep track of. And granted, it's still within the same universe like that. I mean, I feel like it's going to take way too much time, and it's going to take away a lot from what's going on with those series, specifically with the Defenders leading into Punisher and what comes afterwards, to kind of bring in all the stuff that's happening in the movies. Granted, even though that's what we want, I don't think any of us would have a problem with it. But if you really think about it, okay, some of the people that do follow those Netflix shows like that are already so invested with the Defenders storyline, or at least how it's all set up within the city of New York like that. I mean, again, I could be wrong, though.
Does anyone even still watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Like, I don't even know what's going on.
Good point. Good question. And keep in mind, don't forget about the Inhumans. That's a whole other thing that they kind of just dropped.
No, that show is done. It's done. There's no season 2. There should be an explanation. You know, Thanos threw the moon, so therefore they're all dead. But no, the show is done. No one watches that show. Even ABC was like, we screwed up. Jeff Loeb was like, I'm sorry, guys. It's done.
Jeff Loeb was like, yo, my bad. My bad. Let's get back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
When they did the Runaways screening, he was there making fun of the show. So it's not coming back.
That's funny. Yeah, so, hey, I don't know if you guys had any other thoughts you want to say about Infinity War. I know we're all looking forward to it. I believe it's May 4th. It'll be hitting theaters. You know, I'm pretty sure we'll see another trailer before then. But any other thoughts on Infinity War before we move on to the next topic?
I'll tell you right now, seeing that trailer gets me hyped up for Black Panther even more. Even though I think we were all hyped up for Black Panther, you know, seeing what's coming down the line and what we got to be set up for leading into it, I cannot wait to go see Black Panther, especially if they address that last Infinity Stone in that movie with the whole Soul Gem and stuff.
I agree. 100%.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of Black Panther it just leads right into Infinity War. Like we see there was that big machine that Spider-Man saw in the sky or whatever in the trailer. Like I wouldn't be surprised if like we see something like that, like at the end of Black Panther or something, like, and it just leads right into Infinity War.
That's what they did with Thor. That's what they did exactly with Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.